there. Yay. Let me put Tyra on. Yay. Let me pump a beat. Let me pump a beat. Auntie is about to come on. Let me pump a beat. Hold on. Let me run this back. Tyra, come on in. I just added her. Hey, what's going on, Tyra? What's wrong with your phone? I know you're not. Oh, you're getting done up? Wait a minute.
Well, I gotta do it for the kids, you know.
Oh,
Right there, okay?
did y'all get into that? Wait a minute. Well, you getting done, Electra? Alexa, I'm done with you for today. Do you see, Electra, Dominique, do you see my jacket I put on for you? I got done.
You're always done. Always done. Wait, we can hardly see.
Yeah, we need to see you. Come in the camera a little bit as you're getting your makeup. You see? Do you guys see Diva? Do you see her doing her makeup? Do you see that? So before I start my questions, Tyra, let me tell them how I know you.
Okay.
So I basically grew up with Tyra, with the ballroom scene. I was part of the ballroom. I'm part of the ballroom scene too. I walked women's face. And Tyra, the Electra that you guys see is not Tyra. Tyra is like sweet, like a butterfly. Every time any young person walks or any young person gets involved in the scene, she takes them under her wings. This is like a mother hen. So I call her Auntie Tyra, even though we might be close in age. But I call her Auntie Tyra.
But that's okay. I love it. But wait, let me just explain something. You say you are part of Ballroom. Honey, you are legendary. What are you talking about?
Auntie, I'm icon. I'm icon now. They deem.
So what are you talking about? See, oh yeah, you put it in there. You know what you're doing. I see you.
You know, I was deemed by Hector.
Oh, Dad, yes.
Yes, I was deemed by Hector. Dominique, I'm so excited to get you on the show because everybody loves you. People that have, my friends that don't ever come. Let me tell you, I call Dominique Tyra because that's her ballroom name. So I'll go back and forth trying to stick to it. But I just want to tell you that people that don't come on my live regularly are on here because of you. You're so shady. So Tyra, you know, I know a lot about your journey. I know a lot about everything that you've been through and how you have evolved and your book that you wrote, everything. But let's take it back. We're going to let people kind of learn more about you. And see who you are. So Tyra, tell us about your journey.
Well, you know, I started as that little person in Tobago. And anyone who has watched the Hulu documentary, Defining Moments, you will know about that journey. Or if you read my book, The Transsexual from Tobago, if you go to Amazon, you could get it. It's The Transsexual from Tobago Revised. And so I lived on the island of Tobago, and I started to realize that I was living in a community where there were people that were LGBTQ but closeted. And because of the stigma that involved in the West Indies, what I feel happened is like a lot of times these older men who couldn't do what they wanted took advantage of the young one.
Yes.
And so I happened to, and the thing about it is being molested in the West Indies and going through these things, you start to see where children aren't heard. And that's one of the reasons why I really clung to helping the youth that I came across as I went through ballroom and through my own life, because I knew what it was like for me.
Yeah.
And in, you know, being molested by a priest and hearing everyone say that, you know, well, what did you do? And how, it was like when you hear these stories, people don't realize the trauma that comes out of it. You see people and you may see them strict on drugs. You may see them not being able to function properly in life. And we immediately think from our own perspective, and we don't start thinking from the perspective of what we only see this part of the iceberg, right? What's underneath. And so for me, that was having to deal with molestation and rape. by people who were supposed to be prominent men in society, that my priest stood on a pulpit and said that he had never, when he was accused of, and the thing is, he was accused of being a homosexual, when in all actuality, he was a pedophile.
Oh.
And so he stood in front of the church and said that everything was, you know, it was not true, it was a thing. And then I was sent to him to be an acolyte. And it was as an acolyte, I realized, and to tell you this truth, there are times now where I even question, was I molested? And I question it because I'm like, wait a second. Yes, he did pull his pants down. Yes, we were at the beach. Yes, he was holding me. Yes, I can't remember what exactly happened after that. But it was just like, so these things now you start to blame yourself. So people go through a lot. For me, I came to the U.S. to escape that, but ended up as an illegal immigrant. And you don't know these things, you know. So I've
been there. I'm an illegal immigrant, so I know. Go ahead. Let's talk about it.
That struggle is real, but I was allowed to go to school, and that was really important. And so, you know, living this life, I didn't understand. And when I decided to embrace my truth, because being Caribbean, we know who we are. It's up to us to embrace it. And to embrace being a transgender woman was like, look, I could live my life like this. I could do this. I could do that. And I could still have my family. But will I be happy? Will I be me? Will I be happy? And throughout the homelessness, because when I came out in Baltimore, and I didn't come out, I just, you know, people talk about their coming out stories, this big revelation. The person that I really came out to was me. Because when I saw Shatira and Tiffany, I was like, and I saw the life. It was like, you can live in Owings Mills and live in a nice apartment, have your own bedroom with the television, or you can sleep on the floor and eat potatoes and onions and be happy. You don't have to hide yourself.
Yes.
People are going to want to attack you. They're going to want to beat you. But that camaraderie, that love, that family that we built on St. Paul Street in 1993, in 1992, 93, in downtown Baltimore, Maryland, helped save my life. I tell people Ballroom saved my life, and they don't understand it because people tend to think about the negative stuff, right? And that's all we see. I tell people, they say, oh, they make reference to the video with the young woman in, I think, Dallas that was throwing the table and the chairs and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm happy y'all saw that because now you know not to fuck with us. You know?
Tell them about it.
Thank you. You'll be the sweetest, the nicest, and everything like that. But know that if we have to go toe to toe, we will. But so in the journey, coming from Tobago, coming to Owings Mills, Maryland, going to school, I went to Fayetteville State University, couldn't graduate, went to Morgan State University, couldn't graduate. It was all because I was not me. I was trying to live something that everyone else wanted. And I found Ballroom in Baltimore. And once I found Ballroom in Baltimore, everyone spoke about the New York scene. It was like we would sit there all night with sheets and stuff wrapped around, having our own balls, pretending to vogue, pretending to do runway, to walk.
Your kiki functions. Kiki functions.
Well, that's what it was, right? And with all of that, you know, we were happy. We were poor. We didn't know where the next meal was coming from, but we found this happiness, and that's what Ballroom did for me. And then I got to New York, and that's where I met up with, well, it was Andre and Alyssa that took me to New York. Alyssa was one of my first mothers, but in Baltimore, I became an allure. And it was Ariel and Enrique, my first fathers. And my first father.
At that point, Allure is a hot house. If you're in the house of Allure, you better look good, you better dress well, you better serve it, or you're not getting it.
Exactly. You know, and Al gave me a hard time too, but now I understand. You know, it helped mold me. But Allure was about sophistication.
Yes. You know, Cheyenne is my mother. So, you know, like I know that it's a whole step process to the whole thing. It's crazy. So So from ballroom, you had like, oh my God, like it catapulted because you've always been a model. You're like a supermodel to me. You're like you're a supermodel. So how did you talk to us about your journey, about your trajectory into modeling and then acting, which you act the hell out of your role, Electra. I'm like, who the hell is that? That is not my Auntie Tyra. She is evil, evil. Talk about it.
Well, I'll tell you this. You know, I feel like there's this thing inside of us that tells us where we're supposed to be. And from a very young child, I danced all my life. I was always on stage. But the reason they pulled me from dance was because my family found out that I was playing Wonder Woman during lunch break. So I was pulled from dance, placed into soccer, all these kinds of things. So it was always in me. And I always said I would be, you know, I would do something. When my life turned out, when I got to ballroom, it was in ballroom that when I started winning runway, people would come up to me.
Serving runway. Serving runway. Continue.
Come up to me and say, you need to be on a real runway. People like David Altima, like Hector Extravaganza, people like even my uncle Hector Extravaganza, my dad, you know, my dad and my dad Hector Extravaganza, my uncle Jose Extravaganza, they were all pushing me. That is when this was around the late 90s. And I met up with this guy Zoe through Shaka, who used to be a Chanel.
Wow,
and
Shaka
took me from the ballroom straight into fashion. And so we wouldn't tell anyone. It would just be like, let's just keep it a secret. Come on, you're going to work. And I felt protected because Shaka was one of those that made me feel like, wow, okay, I can do this. Because what I was realizing and seeing was that even some of the people that were in ballroom, that worked in fashion, when I went to places to try to get in, and mind you, I felt I looked horrible. I felt like I was the ugliest thing on earth. It's been very hard for me to accept the fact that
we're going to talk about that because you really were a champion for us brown girls in ballroom, but we'll get to that. But go ahead.
So Shaka took me to Zoe. Zoe took me into Brooklyn Fashion Week, and I remember, God bless his soul, both their souls. And I remember when Zoe would say to me, I don't care. He's like, I see a model, you look like a model, and whatever they think, if they have a problem with it, I'm here to protect you. They can't touch you because I'm here. And that's how I got into Brooklyn Fashion Week and stuff. And then Adrian Alisaya called me for one of his shows, Nico and Adrian, and that was, I think, around 2000. And
all these names that I know.
And I did a show with them. Then RR Chanel actually was the first person to do my comp card.
Really?
Yes. RR Chanel also realized that I was working with Shaka and with Zoe, and he said, listen, if you're going to do this, you're going to do it right. And RR set up a photo shoot for me and everything, did not charge me a dime, nothing, and sent me my comp cards. I still have the comp card somewhere inside. If I could find it, I'll show you guys one day. I'll probably post it. But yeah, so there were people in ballroom that really motivated and pushed me. Then around 2000, I met Michael Robeson. And that's when I knew Michael, but around 2000 is when we really, like, and Michael is my butch queen. You know, all the girls have their butch queens and everything, and I always wanted one. Michael is mine. Michael's mine. So that was
Michael.
Yes. And Michael got me to start to realize that I had something to give to the world, that I had something to give, and it wasn't just okay, come do a show and then leave me. It was, let me create space for you. And then we started doing the POCC shows and stuff like that. And from there, people started to realize that I wasn't just a girl that was in the club, and they started to have faith in me. It seems like people, we judge each other based on where we are, not knowing what's happening. Exactly. And so when they saw me like next to people like SWV on the stage at Reef Beach and stuff, they pulled me aside, and you know what? Come on, we can put you here. So I started doing shows here and there, and of course I was doing my entertainment in the club scene, because I'll put it to you like this. Sex work was not for me.
Yeah.
It's what I had to do, is what I had to do to survive, but it destroyed. I still have nightmares about it. I still have memories that traumatize me about things that happened. But anyway, moving along, did the shows, I was doing shows, working in nonprofit, and doing fashion shows. Yeah. So it was like, I was always tired. A lot of people thought I was drunk all the time, but I was tired. I was really exhausted.
I never even seen you drink, Tyra. I've never, as many balls as I've been with you and been around you, I've never seen you drink.
Oh, that's because I was probably drunk before I got there. And when I'm in my space to do what I need to do, I'm like, I'm like that. But yeah, but I was really like doing a lot and going a lot and doing all this, meanwhile not having a green card. So then it got, hold on one second, please.
Oh, do you guys see this? Tyra, really? I love it.
Okay, so then, and then it got to the point where I just really, I started wanting more. Yeah. Started wanting to actually, but because I didn't have the green card, things started to halt. Because on all those applications, there was that, you're excited. Yes, I'm going to get this. And then it comes down, are you a citizen? No. Yeah. Are you a U.S. resident?
It's funny. Why me and you never talked? Because while I was in the ballroom in AK, I didn't have my green card. I didn't get my stuff till like 2005, 2008. Like, it's crazy. Like, we were going through the same thing and we didn't even talk. It's crazy.
A lot of us were going through that. But as from the West Indies and from other countries, as Black people, we don't talk our business like that.
We don't. My mother said, don't tell nobody the truth.
Right. So you're presenting in this, and that's a part of our trauma too, because we present in this very, oh yes, I have it, I have everything. But meanwhile, if you see a police car, you're like, nerves, anxiety. It was the worst experience. And so now that halted me. And what made it even worse was at that time, now people were I had really come into being myself. Yeah. And when you present beauty that you understand and you feel, it's really so much more powerful. So I started to believe that my flaws made me beautiful. That is what happened.
What flaws? What flaws? You have them. Go ahead.
I always used to say to people, I'm exotic because I'm so ugly they can't understand me. So no, that's how I felt. Seriously. But with the green card, everything, that's really when I had to dig deep. I went through a period between 2007 and 2014 where I was almost deported, coming back from Puerto Rico. And it was then that I realized that I actually had paperwork and that I had an approval for my green card. That gave me the motivation to keep going. But I refused to get on planes. It was Michael in 2012 that made me go to Dallas for BHAP. Yes. You were there, right?
Oh, yes.
It was nerve-wracking because agoraphobia had kicked in and I had really shut myself in. I really wasn't coming out. If I wasn't making money, or whether how little it was, because it was a struggle for me at that time too, I was not going anywhere. I would not go outside. I was just in my house. My mother, Tommy Ross, encouraged me to get a dog, and that was the only reason I was able to, like, because of walking my dog, that's the only way I was going outside. And then I was one of those women who was living in toxicity and claiming to be a strong woman. I was fighting, again, like you said, we never talked about it. I was always fighting to make sure people didn't see me like downtrodden or fallen and think, oh, she just wants sympathy. So in my head,
we don't like people to see our imperfections. We're like Instagram. We curate what you need to see.
Exactly. And that's why I try to be as natural as possible in some of my posts and stuff. Like, people have said to me, girl, you're beautiful, but sometimes put on makeup. I'm like, no, You got to see me. This is me. I don't want you to think I have anything or this, because when you look at my life, anyone looks at my life, I want them to know this was not handed to me. This was not in a silver spoon. I don't wake up with a full face. I do go through issues, all that stuff. So at that time, I was also dealing with a marriage that I was trying to save, and it was disastrous. I was being, and let me just touch on this to my sisters out there, not only trans women, but to women in general on a whole. And I spoke about living in toxicity and believing that you're a strong woman. I believe that we have set up this dynamic and this legacy of us torturing ourselves to feel that we're doing good. Like, you don't realize, and we are saying, oh, well, my man, he says this to me, but he really doesn't mean it, you know? And we start to build this thing that we come to believe, and we're trapped in these, you know, and it's still hard for me because I'm looking at myself like, wow, you're a strong woman. You faced immigration. You got all this stuff. And you were going through this. And the sad part is a lot of people would have helped me but couldn't, because
they didn't know. When you don't know, you don't know what to do. When you have that, because I personally even thought that, I'm like, she seems very happy. She's married, and he's always like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just was, even it played out in the show Strut that you guys get married. Like, it was a whole lot, and I was like, this is perfect. But to come to find out that it was all like you were trying to cover for something that was like hurting you in so many ways.
When I did Strut, well, first of all, with Strut, I wasn't even supposed to be on that show. Thank you to Whoopi Goldberg and Tom Leonardis, because they thought I was already too old. So I had kind of gotten to this place where I had given up, you know? And Whoopi really fought for me. And in fighting for me, that was a situation where, you know, I was supposed to say to him, I'm leaving to LA, and that was supposed to be it. But in my head, I thought to myself, give the chance. A trans woman in a relationship for 18 years is something that, you know, to the world is going to look like, yes, I have value, right? Yeah. So I was thinking from that perspective, like, let me make this work, because my sisters are going to believe in love. My brothers are going to believe in love. Men are going to now, you know, see us and want to value us, because here's this man that is giving me value. Yes. But that was on the outside. Yeah. I was in pain. And then once I forgave, because I was not innocent. There were times where I was so down for no birthday gifts, he never took me to dinner. Optimum had the free movie Tuesdays, right? And I had Optimum for all those years, and I would beg, and I was never taken. Right? He would never not even take me to a free movie. But in my head, it was, okay, this is the type of relationship we have. I found snowboarding, so we would go, but it was always an argument in front of my kids. Like, my kids are probably traumatized. Like Jalov, I know Jalov will tell if he will, but Jalov, no, we went snowboarding, and every time we got in that car, it was a fight. It was an argument, going, coming. But in my head, I had a man, right? I had a man, and I would read everyone else's posts. Oh, I'm so lonely. I wish I had someone. So I was like, look, everyone out here, you know, they want a man. So
I'm going to keep whatever I have.
Right. But when it came to television, I had to start realizing that our men in society have been conditioned in certain ways. So I don't blame him. Yeah. But we have to also remember that we have to wake up too, and see the light. You can't just sit in a dark corner and complain about something and not try to step into the light. You got to bring the light to you. If it's not coming to you on its own, go find it.
Bring the light to you. You got to bring the light to you.
As a model, I was always taught, you got to find the light. Yeah. And so I put that in my life. So wherever I'm going to look for the light. And so there was no light there. There was no, I started to see the eyes of someone else. I started to look into eyes, and when you are really fully in acceptance of yourself, so I went through everything, got the green card, got strut, wrote the book, which happened because I flew to Dallas in 2012. Because I got the strength to move forward. Wrote the book. So I would think now everything is in the past.
And the book is on Amazon, right? If you guys want to get it on Amazon.
From Tobago Revised. So
say the name again, Tyra.
From Tobago Revised.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I thought to myself that with everything that was happening, and then on top of that, I had bottom surgery. So it was like my life was just like bam, 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 bam.
Never, like, I didn't even know that. Like, you're so, like, you're very, like, she's very, like it's secretive. Like, you're very, you don't say everything. You were going through so much in that moment, and nobody really knew that.
Well, everyone has their issues too. So when you try to burden other people with your issues, it's like, look, let me work this out, you know? And again, I don't like to seem like someone that is begging or looking for sympathy. I love to work for stuff myself. My motto is, if you want something, work for it. And that includes career, it includes mental, it includes relationships, but not really that much relationships. They got to work. And so, Pose came along, and I'm thinking to myself,
oh, what happened? The thing froze. Okay. Why does my Instagram always want to give me hell? I don't understand. This is a great conversation. I think it's circling back. Hopefully she comes back. What happened? Okay, go ahead. It froze. You got Pose came along. Go ahead.
I thought to myself, okay, look, he did his stuff in the past. I did my stuff, no matter what it was. So whether it was to help us survive or whatever, it's still, so let's start afresh. We got remarried, and one of my things was, you have to do something for our 20th anniversary. If you do nothing for our 20th anniversary, I'm done. And so the 20th anniversary came along, and I was done. And I found myself in the house ordering my wedding band, because we didn't have a wedding band. And I said to him, I need a wedding band. I want a wedding band. I want a wedding ring. And I ordered my own ring. I said, this is how he bought my ring. I picked it out. I took it to him in the bed on the computer, and I had 3 things in the cart. He looked at all 3. He picked one, and he said, that one. And I took out my credit card, and I paid for it.
You bought your own wedding band?
Yes.
These men.
All these things started to compile in my head once I got Pose, and I was in the first season, and I did the scene with Chris Maloney, and he went ballistic. So every day of my life, having to film, having to work, I was in an argument where I didn't know if it would get physical, because he was very upset that he didn't see it as me working on film. So I dealt with that all through filming. We went to Aruba. I still don't want to talk about that because I'm still processing it a lot.
About it.
And I think we froze again.
What? Are you in Tobago? Because your data is looking like it's in Tobago, frozen.
That's
not wrong.
I'm in New York. You are too much. Yeah.
So tell me about, like, you know, I want us to remove ourselves from this toxic space right now. Tell me about how it is playing Elektra, which is really, like, if you see Elektra, I don't think Elektra is Tyra. Tyra and Elektra, two different people. Because there are people in Ballroom that aren't like Elektra, and there are people in Ballroom like Tyra. So how did you get yourself ready to play that role and play it so well?
Because I don't sit in a place of judgment when it comes to people. I sit in a place of observance. And I believe that every aspect of a person's life in some way can influence us. So instead of sitting and judging, I just try to observe. So all throughout my ballroom life, I was observing these women.
The mean girl. They call them the mean girl.
Well, some of them, I don't think, now that, you know, and some of the girls I did get to know, and to be honest with you, they weren't mean, they were just protective. And they had to put up this wall, this barrier, because they never knew who was really for them or who just really wanted to use them. And you know, the girls get used. We may own it, we may say whatever, but you know, they call it shaking the bag or whatever, but sometimes girls don't even know. So it just happened. But I was looking at those girls, and Danielle and Octavia and Moldavia, and that whole Sex in the City dynamic before there was Sex in the City, right? That whole kind of dynasty where they were friends, but then they would, you know, be petty. And then I would speak to Paris Dupree at Two Potato when they would perform. And we would sit at the bar, I would drink Royal Curves, and Paris would drink, and we would just sit there and ham it up. And I used to say to myself, why are all these older people telling me these stories? It was just so like, oh my gosh, all right, just do it in my eyes so I could learn how to perform and transform and what's with the stories. And as I got older, I realized that those stories are what helped to protect me through life. Those stories are what helped to influence me, to help me to say, no, I'm not going to get in this car tonight. I'm going to keep this $20 in my pocket and I'm going to go home. You know, to use intuition, to use instinct, and to do it all while being glamorous. And so all of these things compiled helped me to build Elektra, but I had to separate her. Elektra is her own person. She's her own character. And the first season playing her was difficult for me mentally, because I don't like screaming at MJ and calling her a beast and all that. That was hard.
I know.
That was really hard. Like, I know at times I went home, I was like crying. I would call her and say, listen, I'm so sorry. But then we got used to it, because Elektra, I started to understand her, and she became fun, and she became more of a lesson of what not to do and how to be protective of yourself, but still at times try to be kind.
Exactly. And you really, like, it really showed. And do you have any formal acting training? Because it really is, like, when I say that you act that role so well. Like, how did you, like, you know, like, did you have any formal act? This is all like from you and from like your learned behavior.
So Regina King, 227, Angela Bassett, What's Love Got to Do with It, amongst other things. Whoopi Goldberg, The Color Purple, Kingdom Come. You know, because all of these, when I watch television, I get, I not only get inspired, but I get messages from certain things. It's like you hear certain things and they relate to your life and it helps you.
Exactly.
During that period of time where I was really the cocoon stage, right, where the weather beat me, but I was in that cocoon and being formed, I helped myself by studying. I went online, I studied things, and I had this inner thing that kept saying to me, you're going to be on television. I was watching CSI Miami, CSI New York, CSI Vegas. I was in these crime shows, and this one character, Callie, on CSI Miami, really caught me. She was very, very regal, very to the point, very realistic. And I figured that if I were able to adapt that, I would be able to survive all that I was going through. But what I also learned to do in that was I started to imitate these characters. I would look at television and look at certain shows and try to pull from them. I also watched Bones, and I saw how that was really regal and very to it, you know, strong, empowering women. And from that, I studied their characters, you know, not their lives, their characters, and then went in to look at their lives and see the difference. And I would, and of course, from performing, doing as a showgirl, right?
That is the first stage in acting, exactly.
When you get on that stage, and you know what, not for nothing, I have to give a shout out to Angel Sheridan, because she was tough on me. She did not respect the fact that I am a woman, but she taught me so much in show business, and that is about the professionalism, you know, the dedication, you know, the perseverance, and the ability. If you want to bring a character, you have to build it. So we would sit and study Janet Jackson. I studied the hell out of Whitney Houston, God bless her soul, to be able to stay, to be able to impersonate her. And it was tough, you know, but it was hard work, that hours and hours. People saw a show and you did a number for maybe 4 minutes, but they didn't realize the hours that went into, you know, getting that song learned, getting the outfit together, getting the mannerisms, everything.
Exactly. So you kind of led into my next question. Where can you give people, what are some secrets to success? Give us some pointers for those of us that are trying to achieve our dreams, that do see, because you said like you see yourself in a certain place, you saw yourself somewhere and you ended up there. So what are some kind of 5 steps you can give people that are interested in getting into either modeling or entertainment or acting? What are some like things they need to know and to do to take them into those, in that direction?
Well, okay. On just literal note, you can go to castingnetwork.com and sign up. It may cost you maybe $200 and something for the year. But Casting Network, what that does is, a lot of us think fancy and we want to run to agents and stuff like that before we actually have work. You know, what you can do this for yourself, and then you get to keep your money. So if you are, you know, just breaking out into this or wanting to start, no matter if you're 18 or you're 80, you know, Casting Network, sign up there. But the thing is, you have to be dedicated. You have to go to the casting calls, and when you get rejected, don't look at rejection as, okay, they just didn't want me or they didn't like me because I'm Black and it's a Tyler Perry film. No, look at it as, what do I have to improve on myself? And that's what Ballroom taught me too. Every time I lost, you know, I didn't think, oh, that was shade, even though sometimes it was. It was shade. It made me want to come stronger. It made me want to go back and revisit everything. So, you know, I would encourage people, go to Casting Network, but you have to be dedicated. You have to really want it. And let me tell you something. You have to be able to face your traumas, process them, and whether you're going to live with them or seek therapy, whatever you're going to do with it, but you have to face them. And understand, you're not going to go from nothing to everything in a day. You know that meme that goes, it took me 17 years, 15 months, 11 months, 15 days, or something week to become an overnight success. It's real, right? Because as we see, sometimes people, no matter if you think someone is a one-hit wonder or they have been working at it for a very, very long time. So you have to put in the work. It's all about putting in the work, being dedicated to what you want, and taking everything not as criticism. And that's hard for me too, because I'm extremely sensitive, overly sensitive. But sometimes we have to learn to not take things personally and just to realize it's about the job. Go for it.
Yeah.
Y'all stop thinking that you're going to get the set and people are going to walk around with water bottles and carry you on pedestals and thrones. Set work is hard. No. You have catered lunches and stuff like that at times, okay? And you also have to get to SAG before you really get to speak and say stuff. So it's a process, and I've been through all of them.
So do you have any new projects that you're working on that you want to sell? Any new tea? Any new things that you're doing that you want to know about?
I love my Get the Shoes, baby. Get the Shoes. And so we are working on the website. We will have T-shirts available once Corona is over. And we're going to be doing a bi-weekly contest where people can post their videos, and we're going to give away somewhere between $250 and $500 bi-weekly for the best videos and stuff like that. And it'll be interactive. It'll be on Instagram, but for the cash drawings, you'll have to go to the website to be able to vote. And that's where you will be able to also purchase my book. And books that are on sale from my website will be autographed.
Exactly. Oh my God. So everybody is from all over the world in here. I see Russia. I see Hong Kong. I see they're all saying hi and you're their favorite. They love you. Hi Taya, Buka. How you guys doing?
Me international.
Everybody's loving you. So if you guys have questions for Tyra, make sure you type them in here so that I can ask her, because you know our time, because somebody was getting their makeup done, our time got cut into. Tyra, tell me, what's your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure?
Yeah.
I have a few.
Okay, list them.
Okay, so those Graham chocolate chip cookies from the Keebler house, they're by the side of my bed.
Really?
And my dude will tell you that
how do you maintain that body with Keebler, honey? Because you are model effect, darling.
See, but there's the thing about it. I know I like my cookies. I eat the cookies in my sleep. I'm so serious, right? We're not gonna post that, but I eat the cookies in my sleep.
It's on the video. It's on the video.
But what I do is I'm a person that loves structure and strategy. Even though I may not be able to keep up with it all the time, I have to have it in place. Organization is important for me. And yes, at times I'm a mess in the house. But I do sit-ups every day. I have to do sit-ups every day, or at least a minimum of 4 times a week. Yeah, that is my dedication.
My quarantine, I think I did 1 day of exercise and counting all the days of exercise.
You know why? Oh, and ridiculousness. The show called Ridiculousness.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's about people doing crazy things, but it breaks me from all the seriousness that I go through. And so I just sit and watch ridiculousness on repeat for hours and hours and hours.
I mean, I noticed that you like TikTok a lot.
Oh, so why you?
Block you for those TikTok videos. You're about to be blocked.
I love TikTok because it's so much fun. And guess what? So a lot of people were like, "Oh, old people getting on TikTok and stuff like that." And I'm like, wait a second. No, honey, this is fun. We got to exercise, and as a couple, you know, we got to do things together too. So it's like we exercise together. We're, you know, laughing. We're doing crazy things together, and it keeps me entertained. The time, instead of just sitting around during this quarantine, especially learning the Jennifer Lopez routine or the MC Hammer, the can't touch this. It takes time, so it distracts the mind from going through all the crazy thoughts and repeating trauma. So I love TikTok. So you're going to see more videos.
I'm going to block you. I'm going to block the videos from TikTok. I can't stand y'all and this TikTok.
I am unblockable.
I can't block you. So you talked about your new boo. So now we talked about the trauma. Now you got some new love in your life. Talk about that a little bit.
It's scary. It's scary, but it's so much fun because it's like someone is calling me beautiful. Like he wants me to get dressed. You know, it's like, get your hair, like we were going out and he was actually upset with me because I wouldn't put on heels. And I wasn't accustomed to that. He's like long, having my hair long, I wasn't allowed to do that before, you know, except for when I did shows. Now it's like, do it. You know, I get held, cuddled. Now, it's not all perfect. We do have our arguments and there are things because we both have our lives that we're bringing together. But, you know, and he has kids.
Okay. Wait, somebody told me that I need some gloss. Do they say some gloss? Wait.
But in all, it's all beautiful for my life. It is something, and the thing is, I wanted it. I wanted to have that life where I had someone that loved me unconditionally, where I had someone that loved me and wanted to protect me. You know, if I stomp my toe in the kitchen, I hear him say, "Babe, you okay?" Yeah. Sometimes I don't even think that he knows my name because he's always like, "Babe, honey, babe, honey." You know, it's like, it's refreshing. And he's Latino, and nice.
Hi, Tyra, there's somebody on here that says she's from Brazil and that it's not really hard. It's very hard for trans girl in Brazil. She said that she loves you and she wants to
love. I've gotten so much love from Brazil, and I always send my love and stuff to them. And yes, I know it is hard, but the one thing about Brazil that I have found that I have seen, I don't know how it is that there's some camaraderie. And now we know it's always not good, like ballroom.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are going to be wanting to help each other and things. So I just suggest, even though there's always going to be good and bad, try to find the good. Try to seek out those people that will want to support you and will want to lift you and empower you. Don't sit in a space where people are going to be negative to you. Try to find your way out. And let me tell you, sometimes it's not hard, but you got to take that first step. If I didn't take the first step, I probably would have been dead back in Tobago. Take the step of finding support and love.
Somebody said, what's the 411 on season 3 of Pose?
I'm going to have to call 311 to get the 411 on that.
The shades start now. Oh my God.
I know.
Everybody saying you're light. A lot of Brazil is in here heavy. Brazil is spamming us with they have a lot of flags.
Yes.
Somebody said you're bright, you're magnificent.
In Brazil named Leona. Let me tell you something. She's absolutely spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Entertainer, actress, performer. She's everything.
Them Brazilian girls are a different breed, honey. Those Brazilian girls are gorgeous, right?
Yes.
The Brazilian women, that's why everybody's running to Brazil. Yo, the comments are coming in so fast. I can't even read them. Oh my God, it's like so many comments. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I told y'all to ask questions. Y'all over here. Okay.
Oh, someone asked
when you're in a toxic situation,
if I'm going to be on American Gods.
Uh-huh.
And the answer is, darling, of course.
Yeah. And somebody said, when you're in a toxic situation, how you justify ways to stay in it? We got 27 seconds. Dominique, leave people with a beautiful message. 22 seconds left.
I love you guys. If you are in a toxic situation, the first thing you have to do is realize it and know your worth and know that you're strong enough to be able to walk away. Find friends, find